All right, so tonight we are going over the last set of chapters, chapter 50 to 56. Loads to fucking unpack with
Y-
this set of chapters.
My mind is
Lots of
blown.
betrayals, lots of mind blowing, like
Secrets.
insane, yes, huge secrets. Um, just there's so much fucking like jaw on floor.
Hmm.
Out of Left Park, explosions in my face, like I thought were coming because why not? Why not? Azul came from left field. Why not her? So,
But it wasn't.
lots.
But it wasn't Azul.
Eh, no, yeah. So yeah. So we did figure that out. Um, which was like sneaky on her part. Um, but yeah,
I would,
lots to fucking unload.
yes, I would not have guessed a lot of the shit that we found out. A lot.
No. No, not at all.
And then my
Not at
heart,
all.
my
And
poor heart. I am still Team Grim though.
oh my gosh, that was so big of him to walk away. Like,
And
he could have fought. Like, he accepted, like, in that moment, like, he didn't, like, he accepted, like, her decision of the other two and of the other, or yeah, of Oro. And,
but a lot of it was
like,
because the abilities.
well, yeah, but he, instead of being a dick, because
He
they
left.
shared love, like they were in love, he didn't go and like flood back her memories and be a dick about it. Like, no, you
Right.
are mine. Like, here is our story for you to
He's gonna
remember.
wait.
He
He's
didn't
gonna
unlock
wait.
anything. Yeah. Like that was, and that's what I mean. Like, it was big of him to just walk away because he could have been like, no, this is my love story. Like, you are mine. And he did not. He accepted it. He allowed her to, do her thing and stuff, and he didn't stand in that way. And like, it was rough, and I was not expecting that. I thought for sure like she would
No.
remember and they would reunite, and like it would be them basically like riding into the sunset together and stuff like that. But yeah,
My heart though, and like
I
I
didn't
guess we'll
see
get
that
more to
coming.
it like when we talk about it, like when we get there, but like yeah, she understood. Like he was like in a tough spot too. Like he was in that tough spot as well and he thought he was doing the
He
right
was
thing.
tricked. Yeah. She tricked him.
So, and she was doing the same thing. Like just with different people.
Yeah.
But I have a theory-ish when we get there about the two. And when we like talk more about it, I'll tell you
Okay.
how I kind of took it as well.
Okay.
But we ended
don't
off.
think that I don't sorry, I don't think that
No,
they're
no, no, you're fine.
like, I don't think that's the last
No.
of it.
So I went to Google. I wanted a Team Grimm shirt and I wanted to see what I could find, and there was a Reddit post that came up instead that I read something, but I don't know if it's true. It's about him and Isla, but we haven't discovered unless it's a
You
memory. Unless it's a memory she hasn't uncovered and he hasn't said
Well, we
anything.
still have 2 books. We still have 2 books,
So I
and
don't know if it's true or
don't
not.
spoil anything yet. Just bookmark it for later.
I won't spoil that because I don't know if it's true or not. It's just what because it pretty much said I don't know why you're Team Grimm, and then it said something else. I won't say the other part, so I don't know
Okay.
if that part is true
Okay.
about them or not. So we'll just keep that other part. Otherwise, I spoiled it for myself on accident. I didn't mean to. Okay. I thought Etsy would come up or
Well, yeah,
something. Googling it, not Reddit being
or
the
at
first
least like,
post.
or at least something you can iron onto a t-shirt.
Yeah, like let me buy like somebody's PNG or SVG and I can make it myself. Like, but
Yeah.
no, Reddit was the first one. Them damn Reddit posts.
All
Okay, so
right.
we ended on the different point of views. Uh the spicy scene between or the small spicy scene between Azul, oh god. Isla. It's because I was looking at his name. I was looking at
Did
his
we
name in
read?
my notes. I was literally looking at his name in my notes and wrong person. I meant to say Isla and Grim. Totally,
What version
totally
did
messed
you
up.
get?
Apparently a different one. Um
Which could honestly be expected since you have two different versions of the book and like there's
yeah, it was like a whole
extra
different
words in the normal
sentence.
version. So,
It was like a whole extra sentence in the new one. Okay, excuse me. Starting with chapter 50, Isla spent the rest of her days and nights in the hidden library reading in hopes to find the heart to break the curses. That way, because she had a future to look forward to with Grim. My heart. Um, she was trying to picture where darkness meets light, and she didn't need to. Wait, what did I write? Oh, she didn't need to. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. She didn't need to, though, because she has seen it countless times. And before I go
mhm.
on, the fucking bird. The
Yes. Yeah,
bird.
okay, like I I assumed because it like every time they were there, it came back to the bird. And I mean it was written to where it could be like a spy for her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like there's more to it. Like it's not the last time we're going to see the fucking bird.
Really not.
Fucking bird.
um, she believes that it was a time and not a place, so dawn and dusk. Oro believes this is why he couldn't find it. And then this is about the bird that she believes the bird was not working for Cleo, but trying to tell her something. She knew where the heart was.
Yep.
Chapter 50 was kind of
And
like a short one.
it also so I thought back um when I read that when she was thinking of the bird and how they stepped like that first time they had stepped on the aisle and the moon aisle and like encountered the bird and like the bird followed them basically or whatever I believe to when they met the oracles and the oracle was like it's nearer than you think like the bird was like I think that was like a hint because of the bird it like being able to lead them to the heart or whatever and um so I thought that was kind of like a cool little callback also like it was right there.
Right. I totally didn't even suspect that the bird could be the one
No, I
that
didn't
they were
either.
supposed to follow at all. Um
I was hoping that we were gonna like there was more to the bird and had a small feeling like I said just because like there were too many instances with the bird being like pointed out like when the Vinderland people came and like they were talking about the bird and like Oro being able to use the bird and then her and the bird and it's just like it seemed like it was gonna play a bigger part in and everything like how many times it was hinted that she hit her head like is there
Right.
something to it, or is she just clumsy as fuck
I think
and she's
clumsy
like a
because
child? She's a child and just keeps hitting her fucking head.
I think it was just clumsy because there was nothing else that happened with her hitting her head.
Well, just not in this book.
Oh,
It could be
but
something,
it's
leading up to more that we might find out in the second book.
my
Maybe she
theory
hits her
though.
head in the second book and gets her memories back with Grim, and she's like, "Oh my god, I don't want to be with you," or "Oh my god, now I have to choose."
I think it's gonna be him slowly sending her the memories through the dreams again, and that's why she's afraid of going to sleep. We
Oh,
find that out later on. That's why she won't go to
yeah.
sleep. Um, but I was wrong on my theory that she hit her head and lost her memories, and then we'll discuss that more. My heart, though. um, Before they went to the heart, Oro and Isla met up. He took his crown off and placed it on her head, so she took her crown off and placed it on his head. And he told her if she's right about this, she may be more powerful than him. And then that's when she places her crown on his head. If the curses get broken, Oro wants to rebuild where the realms are united. Um, and he wants her to
I
stay
love
on
that.
Lightlark. But Isla's future had no plans of that. She had plans to rule her realm and have the future with Grimm.
Mhm. I like
They
that he
came.
was like, "And perhaps you would stay." Like,
He
like,
was.
"I have feelings for you. Please stay. Please don't leave me." But
I
trying to
know.
be, like, not pushy about it. Like, "No, you have to stay. Like, you're not allowed to leave. Like, we're
Right.
rebuilding. You have to stay." Like, type thing.
Right.
He's
And I
playing
like
he's
how
coy.
we got answers and we got backstories, but then we are left with more questions, like with the cliffhanger at the end.
Yep.
So I did like that
Yeah.
because later on we learn what the Oracle meant about the Wildling and Sunling together.
Yes. And the fucking cliffhanger. I was totally wrong about the keys.
You and me,
Totally
but I
wrong.
would have
I
never
never
thought.
suspected the crown.
No.
It just talked like a keyhole, as long as her arm, or like the takes a
So
giant key, and then the keys for that were as long as your arm. And I'm like,
how big is
that's
her
it. Like,
crown?
that's it. Yeah. I thought for sure it was those keys that Cleo had, and we were gonna
Yeah.
have another break-in sequence, and she
She
was
is
gonna be able
still.
to get into the vault.
We are like
And
totally like jumping, but I don't care.
I know.
Cleo is still suspicious to me though.
Yes.
I think in book two, we're going another whole
Yeah,
ride.
I don't think
Another
that's
ride.
the end of her. I think that there's still
More to
more,
her.
her legion, her fucking ships, like all of that. They're not done.
What she does
They're not
after the
done.
curses are broken. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oops. Uh, this is where they come across the dark bird, and this time they start following it. Isla knew it wasn't the heart, but that it would lead her to it. Following the bird to the spot she believed the heart was at, they found a cave to sit in and wait. And I wonder if this is a reason, and I wrote this in my notes, is about she mentioned that his crown was unreasonably sharp, but it didn't go into any more detail, and he never like responded to that. So I wonder if we learn more in the other books why his crown is like that, because I feel like it was mentioned for a reason. Either that or she just needed something to talk about. But he didn't
Maybe. I don't
respond. Like he
know.
didn't really respond. He kind of laughed, I believe.
Yeah.
Like so I don't know if like that's going to mean anything in the next couple books, if there's a reason or if it was just stated that way.
Yeah.
Um While sitting in the cave, Moon Isle started to shake, causing Aura to double over. Isla asked what she could do to help, and he wanted her to sing. So she sang to him. until she stopped. And when he asked her why, she pointed because the light was rising and she noticed something, an egg. So I'm assuming
Mhm.
the bird laid the egg.
So did the bird lay an egg every
See, that's what I'm
night and then it just disappeared when it wasn't found?
oh,
Or was it like
nesting it,
or or did it do reveal it because they were in the right place at the right time because they finally figured it out and the bird knew that they were in the proper place to obtain it because the bird obviously was trying to lead them to it
right?
every time they stepped on the aisle, like, "Hey, fuckers, this way. It's
And it
right
had a
it's right
nest,
here. It's been here the whole time."
right? And there
Yeah.
was a nest. Because the egg was under the nest, and then it slowly fell, cracking open. The full egg, and I like this reference. The full egg represented the moon, the yolk was the sun, but the
Yeah.
full egg is the heart. Um, and that's when Oro told her to go get her heart. And but as soon as she grabbed it, she felt a force through her skin. An arrow was sticking right through her heart, the Vinderlin.
Yep.
To get their revenge, and then Oro pretty much set the whole forest on fire, killing them.
Yeah.
Um, he was trying to reach her, but he couldn't step out because of the sun,
Oh my
the sun peeking
yeah.
through. So when he
But
reached
I like
further,
well,
go ahead.
my god.
No, no, no. I was gonna say
I hate that. I hate that.
no. I was just gonna say that when he reached further, like he roared in pain because he was getting burned.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Um, I was just gonna say I like that she was able to pull the necklace for
Yes.
Grimm to come get her. Um, then that way she wasn't stuck there.
And then Oro was begging him, please. Um, and she noticed that his face was going into a handful of emotions, and then she was gone. But the heart was what was keeping her alive.
Do you think so she at wonders why he was begging. Did he want her to leave the heart? Her hand went limp, the yoke fell to the ground. Do you think that was her wondering before she realized that Grimm like, it was kind of, like, taking place at the same time that Grimm was getting her into his arms, and he's like, "Please, like, get her out of here, like, save her," type thing, like, that
I
he's pleading with
see
Grimm to get her out of there and
see that's
not
what I
like,
thought
"Please, you
because
have
he
to
couldn't
go."
because
Yeah.
he couldn't do anything. 'Cause he had to stick around in that cave.
Yeah.
Or it's because of what we find out later on.
Like, he's already got access to her powers, and he's
No, no,
stealing
no.
hers?
He because of what we find out, so that's when he realizes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
when he realizes. So
Yeah.
the fact that he finally realized that and then she's dying, it could be
Yeah.
one of them. But I think to her, when she hears it, she probably thinks in her mind right away, like, get me out of here type.
Yeah.
Um, Going into chapter 52, really gotta stop saying a lot. I gotta break the habit. Grim is
I've been
telling
trying to be
Isla.
like, "All right," or so,
Yeah, I
and
know.
then I catch myself and be like,
Yeah.
uh."
Grim is telling
Anyways.
Isla to come back to him. So that's when she woke up asking him how, because she should have been dead. He doesn't know, but Isla believes that it was the heart that had saved her. And then that's where she starts to believe that part of the prophecy had been fulfilled because she used it. I was not I didn't expect what the actual offense was. I would have never got it. I would have never got that at
No.
all.
No.
Um, there I go again. there I go again.
When you side note, when you were reading and this when you were reading the chapter that we find out about her and everything, and when it was talking about like her smile became like more sinister or something like that, or however, like more menacing or something, like as the truth was like coming out. She, tell me why I pictured like a scene from Sailor Moon with one of the villains just like being evil. And I played it out as like a cartoon anime in my head the whole time. I've been on Sailor Moon TikTok, so like that's how I pictured it as I was reading this. I'm like, total Sailor Moon fucking character, like playing out the whole time. That's how I pictured everything. I don't know. Or like something off of Dragon Ball Z, like, like evil and sinister and like a
That
menacing smile.
cartoony, like the
Yes.
cartoony.
I pictured that, but I watch too much random shit, so I'm like just how it played in my head. And like, I don't know. I picture Grimace some tall, lanky, like emo person.
Yes. Um,
And
like
then you have like Oro, I picture as like the guy from the Chronicles of Narnia, the like
I
the
said, really never
older
seen that movies.
sibling. That's
Okay,
how I picture
Grim.
characters.
Grim would be the
Oh,
Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, or no, Helena Gerard Way.
yes. That's style that I pictured him
Yes,
100%.
the longer hair, the dark vibe, pale skin. There we go.
Yep. That's pretty much how I pictured him.
Helena Gerard Way, all the way, is who Grim reminds me
All right.
of. um, while Isla was sleeping, Grim found a rare wildling elixir that does what moonling healing cannot. And he found it in a moonling
Where?
shop in the Agora that was long abandoned.
Oh,
You don't remember
yeah, I
that?
missed that. No. Oh, yeah, it's right before it. I forgot about the Moonling shop, but I thought maybe I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm
I
curious more
remember.
about that though. Like, how did they have it?
Was
Is it
it though when everything was
Yeah,
ransacked?
I that's what I was getting ready to
Village.
say. It could have been. It really could have been.
Oh,
Um,
this is where we go into
where shit gets
all new
real.
shit. Yep.
Shit starts getting
Yep. He
real from
tells
here
her.
on out.
Yep. He
Celeste,
tells her Celeste is awake.
she rushes to go
Um,
see her.
he wants her to rest. She's like, yeah, fuck that.
She got things to do first.
But yep.
Um, when she gets to Celeste, she tells Isla that it was Azul that poisoned her. Then she tells Celeste that she had found the heart and wielded it, and that she'll tell her everything later to stay hidden and wait for her. When she goes back to her chambers, Grim was gone, but Oro came to see her, and he flew through the light. That not enough to kill him, but enough to burn him.
Yep.
And
So the curse was not fully broken yet.
and he brought her the heart
Then.
back.
Hmm.
He told her to bathe and get dressed to meet him in the library.
Yeah, she was covered in blood.
And then like, oh, my eyes like bugged out when I read all this coming up, like what they had to talk about in the library. Which didn't like it didn't surprise me with like the history between the two, but I still was like, ugh. Um, the heart had been found with 10 days to spare. They did mention that. She was in the library, Isla told Aura she believes she used the heart because it saved her. And he kind of believed that as well, that that was using or recreating the first offense. They sat together going over the prophecy. She tells Oro she wants to save the Starling realm, and he seems surprised by that. So I wonder if he kind of knew something was a little
If
fishy.
he just expected, I wonder if because of how close her and Grim were getting, he had just expected her to pick Nightshade and then was taken aback by her
Her
picking
picking.
Starling because she was choosing that over love before realizing that Nightshade was the ones that had to die, which sucked, but I understood where he was coming from as a ruling point of view when he told her because of his power. He made the point of how like powerful he is. Um
And yeah, because she brought up the fact that why he wanted, since Aura wanted Grim dead, why? Because he's what was standing in the way between them and the great danger, and that's when he brought up about his power. But and this is what I had, I think it was later on. Oh, a little bit later in my notes. Did he is that the real reason, or was it underlying reasons from what we learn later on? Was it jealousy talking? Get him out of the picture.
I think it could have been a mixture of both. Um I think that could have been both. Um little bit of jealousy, get him out of the way like you said, but at the same time coming from a ruler, um the whole invasion thing, but
She made a point though. He
I
would have
think
did it a long time ago if
yeah,
that was true.
yeah. So, and then again, it could have been like they're not part of Lightlark, essentially. They're off in their own little thing. So, what does it matter if it's them that dies as a ruling line or one of the others? Because they're not his responsibility. They're their own separate entity. Um,
Right.
so I do think part of it was underlying in a way. And I think he tried to make it not the reason.
Yeah, because he didn't want to.
And
He didn't want to like come out just yet about his feelings
yeah,
and stuff. Um,
yeah.
Isla wanted Moonlings to die, but Oro did not want to sentence thousands of deaths for the actions of the ruler because that's when they still thought that Cleo had spun the curses.
Hmm.
So she suggests Azul, and then that's when Oro finally tells her Azul was the one trying to sacrifice himself, and his realm even agreed to it. Like they had all agreed.
Yeah. Which that was when I had thought that um it was odd that he would put a curse on Celeste. If he was planning to sacrifice himself, not another ruling
Mm,
line, because he wants to be with his husband, he wants to cross over, do the things, whatever. Like why would he attack her? So that like definitely raised kind of a red flag, I
right.
guess. For me on him. For that, it was just kind of definitely odd that he would do that.
I just thought of something. How it was never stated how Celeste got unpoisoned.
Yeah, I don't think
Did
it was just that she was
Grim
a
did Grim help her? See, and I think that's what made them believe that maybe the curses were almost broke too, is like I wielded the
yeah.
heart, so like, good things from here on out are gonna happen. But it was never really stated like how she came to. And I kind of wish we did. And then I kind of wish we
Yeah.
knew more about, and I kind of hope we learn in the next ones more about nightshades being banished and not fleeting. Lightlark. I want to know more on that backstory.
Yeah.
Isla was torn because she refused to kill Grim, but she knew Aura would if she didn't.
Yeah.
But if she picked
Um,
Grim, then he would kill
mhm.
Celeste.
She also started to think that Ella could have
Yes,
been involved with things because she's the only other person that she confided in as far as the
and
note with
knew
Juniper,
Juniper.
because she was not suspecting Celeste at all for anything. Um,
No.
None of it. So she immediately went to Ella because she confided in her with lots of things.
Um, this is also like she begged him not to be Grim, and that's when he brought up about his flare and that he can travel between Lightlark and Nightshade, and that he believes Grim will transport his army while they're still vulnerable. I don't believe that. I think he would have done that a long time ago after the fact that he knew the king was dying.
Yeah.
I think he would
And
have
all
pushed
he
that.
Yeah, I agree. And his only argument was you don't know what he did, and that was a long time ago before he became a ruler and inherited immense power. But he doesn't um give us more information on what he did, like what makes him so bad.
Is it because
Um
of like he was a warrior that was like always drenched in blood?
Well, he never even talked about like why he didn't agree with the way that he fought. Like he's never given any sort of like insight from his point of view as to everything that Grimm has done that makes him such a bad person in his eyes. Um which I hope we get more information as far
Right.
as all of that. Um but I feel like for his argument's sake, Isla needed more information as to like, okay, this is what he has done. This is what he was like. This is what he could still be capable of. And this is why he's the best, like, logical choice for that instead of, you don't know what he did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was fucking horrible. And
And
I
that's
just don't
what
agree with the way he fights.
and that's what made me think like, is it for selfish reasons?
Yeah.
And he was,
Yeah.
but he was
I
not
think
the
it was
only
a
one.
combination.
Yeah. Like he had just found out and he thought he lost her.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the only one either. Like Azul and Oro, of course he would agree. Azul and Cleo both agreed with him.
Yeah.
Either that or he was just telling her that to kind of like sell the point. So she pressed her dagger to his throat and he was hoping she would do it, but she couldn't. She could not do it. So she left. And this is where just boom, 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 like one thing after another. Because with Grimm's life on the line, Isla realized all she wanted was a future and happiness.
Yeah.
She had a plan that would save her realm, still have Celeste, and it would give her Grimm. So she went to Celeste and told her she knew where the bond breaker was, but Grimm was added to using it because she wasn't going to leave him out. She wanted the power she was denied, but she wouldn't pick it over Grimm. I thought that was sweet. And this is where like the plans just start falling into place. Celeste
Hmm.
suggests a place where they could use it without Oro interfering. So Isla suggested the place of mirrors because since nobody can wield their power. Kind of a mistake, but also very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful at the same time. She had hoped to flee after using the bond breaker. Before heading to the place of mirrors, though, she left a note for Oro explaining as much as she could. She then called on Grimm with the necklace. She explained to him that Oro wanted to kill him, but she didn't seem too surprised on that either. But at the time, like, I guess through his head, what he was told later on probably didn't like what he was supposed to do on his end. Probably it probably didn't surprise him that Oro wanted him dead anyways.
Yeah.
Now I gotta find my place in my notes. She told him also that her and Celeste had a plan to break the curses for the three of them, but they'd have to run. So he transported them to the edge of the woods, and nothing happened to Grim because it was at nighttime. So other realms' curses were nullified. So I'm assuming that
Place of mirrors.
because earlier on in the book we learned that Oro watched her when she hid out there. So was he out there because it never stated if he was there during the day or at night when he was guarding her.
Yeah. Um, and when he wasn't, he had guards there. So
Yes, somebody had
it
to be there
had
during the day.
so it had to have been guards from other isles that were working on Lightlark that he had in his commands. Is what it had to have been then, is how I took it. Just
Unless he
because
knew. Unless he knew that they wouldn't burn if the curses were nullified there.
oh, that's true. They got there early enough and swapped out with them or something and he that's very true.
And I think this was what freaked her out though, is this is where Grimm tells Isla that her dreams are not dreams, they were memories. She appeared in his castle 1 year ago using the Nightshade relic. So the star stick was not a starling mark. And it makes sense why her mother would have it once we find out who her father
Oh,
really is.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes sense
And
why
it
her
made
mother would have it.
being able to portal like that even made sense
Yes,
because of his
his
powers of
flair.
being able to, yeah. Yeah.
And then he finally admits that he was the one that took her memories. And this is what shocked me because I'm like, okay, maybe she had an accident. No, Grimm took her memories from her.
Yeah.
We're all part of the plan. We also learn that she was with him before she went back to her room for the centennial. So, like at
Like,
that very
yeah, it
beginning
all was
chapter.
like
So, when did he take her memories?
that day, right before she portaled back. She must have been in the middle of portaling back, and he was like, swipe. She went
I
through the
want to know
portal,
more.
and
I
that
want to
was
know
that.
more on
And
that.
oh, don't even get me started on her guardians.
Oh,
Fucking assholes.
I was mind blown. Like, I I didn't expect that at all. Uh,
Yeah.
she didn't trust herself or him, so she ran through the forest to the place of mirrors. And Celeste was already there, holding the giant sewing needle that was long as a dagger. And then Grim arrives and yells no. So this is where like I started getting suspicious because he obviously knew what it was if he's yelling no.
Yeah. Which explained why Oro was like, yeah, no, that doesn't exist. There's
Because
there's
there
nothing
is no
like that.
bond
No.
breaker.
Just the bond maker.
Because she told Celeste when she got there to just go ahead and do it because then now she wasn't going to save Grimm's ass. She was
Yeah.
like booting him out after she just put him in. So she felt a sharp stab through her palm. And when she turned to Celeste, her eyes had changed colors. And that's when she realized the bond breaker, or what she thought was the bond breaker, was taking something from her and it was giving it to Celeste. I didn't go into detail about like her hair started like floating.
But that's what I mean. She grinned wickedly. She did not recognize that smile. Her silver hair began to float around her head. Her back arched just as Isla doubled over and suddenly lightheaded. Celeste's skin gleamed far too brightly. Like that is a total like I'm stealing your life essence, like getting powerful,
Yes.
like Sailor Moon moment or whatever. Like some cartoon betrayal is how it played out in my head. I've seen this story before. I've heard
Like
this.
when the evil person is like disguised into like this nicety nice person, and next thing you know, they're like up in the air transforming to their true
And
self.
yeah, and how many times did that happen? How many times in that series
Multiple
did that
times.
happen to where that's exactly what I pictured it playing out? With the exception, like obviously the all the characters look like this, but it played out like that in my head with those faces.
Is Isla
So,
Sailor Moon and Grim Tuxedo Man.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes.
Then Oro shows up.
100%.
He was pretty quick. He showed up,
Hmm.
but once inside, he was doubled over along with Grim. 6 droplets fell from Celeste's hand. Celeste's blood contained abilities from each realm.
Where did she get all of them, though?
You can't forget.
Did Isla give her access to all of them from Oro because of their bond,
Yes.
their feelings? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how it was. Because I got confused, and I'll explain, like there's a part that I got confused and then I realized.
Because I think that's where I
But
got
at the same
confused. And
time,
I still don't think it 100% dawned on me how that had worked out. Because it even says, and it didn't explain all 6 droplets. And I don't know, maybe I was just like, because at this point I was like, holy fuck. Like
yeah.
shit was just getting I had to read a couple paragraphs twice because I'm like, did I just read that right? Like what the heck?
It still kind of confuses me a little bit, and I'll go into detail. But she was only allowed to use the wildling power there. Like, so she was only able to use that, which
Yeah.
she got from Isla. Then again, she could have got that also from Oro, because Oro can wield all everybody's powers.
Yeah. She probably got like a double dose of it because it essentially betrayed Isla and was like protecting Celeste or she who will
Well,
not be named.
I think a lot of that though is too is because she hasn't really came into her powers
Oh, yeah, so it
because
couldn't really sense her.
yeah, because of the masking. Celeste states that both Oro and Grim fell at Isla's feet. Oro fell in love with a wildling. And then we find out there was never a bond breaker, it was a bond maker. It allows the transfer of ability to help sunlings, kings pass power to the heir without dying. And Celeste was not Celeste, she was Aurora. That, like, I knew something was up with Celeste, but I did not suspect it to be Aurora, even with reading about Aurora and Grimm's point of view. And
I
that's how he knows that she was.
Yeah, I I still didn't suspect Celeste
I
until
knew something was
this
up with
chapter,
her.
and it blew up in my face. I
I knew it.
continuously kept that on the back burner.
And
Constantly kept that on the back
that's
burner
why
because
I
I'm like,
text
man,
you.
she's too good. Like she's too good. It's gonna blow up in my fucking face, you know.
That's why I
And
text you. I was like, I
I
was
thought for
right.
sure that Aurora was Isla like reincarnated and like maybe Grimm had known that part of her was like still in there with some memory and everything that might be able to help them since she was around with the curses. But I did not expect it at all to
Mm-mm.
be
I didn't think it I knew something was fishy with her, but I was not expecting her to be a whole different person, although Celeste is a real person.
Yeah.
Her flare allowed her to change appearances, and that her death was an illusion because Oro stated that he watched her die, but it was not her that died, it was her actual sister, Celeste. She just took on
Mhm.
her appearance. Uh Egan, is that how we were pronouncing his name?
Yeah.
Was supposed to marry Aurora, but was in love with someone else, Isla's ancestor Violet. They were
Which
actually
was
supposed to marry.
mhm.
Which
Um
we
which was cool thinking back, like I think he had said earlier and stuff about seeing a sunling and a wildling
Yeah,
like
the
next to
Oracle
each
had
other.
mentioned that it's been
But
a
was it
while.
that or was it because they used to work together and they were advisors? I think combination of both.
Well, I think it was because of Violet and Ian, because
Hmm.
that's when the curses appeared.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's probably, and that was like the last time they were seen together, because after the curses
Yeah.
came to, there was, or didn't like the wildlings anymore. Aurora used her flare to change into a wildling that night and convinced Grimm he could have her if he gave her the most beautiful flower. He ended up giving her the heart of Lightlark, which he did not know that it was the heart that time. And
Hmm.
he unknowingly unlocked the heart for her to use. And that's when she cursed all the realms without meaning to, but she was left unmarred. So she got stuck, pretty much
Yeah,
being the
because she didn't
only.
find it. Yeah, she didn't find it herself, so she couldn't wield it as effectively as it should have. She should have been able to. Um,
This is where
so
we
I
go
think
back.
that was the setback. Sorry.
No, 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 you're fine. Like I said, tell me to shut up if I need to.
Sometimes it's just really hard because I don't expect you to like. It's just timing. There's kind of like that
Oh,
silent
that
moment, so
little
it's like, okay, somebody
delay.
needs to talk, and then we end up talking over
Like, I
each
don't
other.
want to, like I'm reading my off my notes, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe she's got something to
Yeah.
say. So I'm
Well,
like waiting
and
for
I just
you, and then I just kind of keep going.
yeah, and I just felt that pointing out that since she didn't find it herself and not that that was the reason why she couldn't wield it effectively, um and which led to her cursing the realms without like meaning to. um
Yeah, because it had to be either Wildling, a Sunling, or Nightshade that uses it.
mhm, yeah.
But we go into, this is where she fakes her death, and it was actually her sister Celeste that had died. She wanted to take what she was denied. But this time around, she wanted to rule all six realms because she was hoping to get that power from Egan once they married, that he would share his abilities with her. And every centennial, so she was the one that went to every centennial as a different person. Unless she went to the as the same. No, I think it stated that she was a different person each time.
Yeah.
She changed because they were only supposed to make it to 25, so she had to make it look like it.
Yeah.
Because every centennial she tried to make a move on Oro, and he rejected her each time. And
Hmm.
she tried looking for the bond maker each time because his brother had actually told her about it. Big mistake on his part.
Yeah.
Big, big
And I got
mistake.
so pissed um when she called her little bird.
Yes,
And I thought
because
that was
that.
just I didn't expect like, and I don't know if it's actually said that she knew Tara and Poppy or not, or if that was
No,
kind of just like a little jab at how she felt, how they called her a little bird,
we
how she felt like a bird trapped in a cage. It
we
was like
don't
one of
find
those
out.
jabs.
No, we don't find out until she goes back. Poppy tells her. We never hear it out of Celeste or Aurora's mouth. It's Poppy that confirms it, like later on.
Mm-hmm.
But this blew my mind that her father was the General Nightshade. He was a Nightshade general. And that is why her mother would have had that relic. Because he was using it to go see her mom. This kind of threw me off too, that she was both Wildling and Nightshade, and she has both powers. Her Wildling powers were being shaded by the Nightshade powers. But according to Oro, child's only supposed to have one power, not both.
Maybe she's one of those like
Special, like,
rare ones, yeah, because of, but maybe,
it's like she's like her body somehow knew that she would be the one.
yeah. Maybe it's because of what it is, because it's Wilding and Nightshade. Maybe it doesn't work for a Starling and a Moonling, or a
Maybe.
Skyling and a Moonling, or something like that. Maybe, um, I don't know.
But the way Aurora was mentioning is that um she's a little more powerful than what she thinks though. Way before she later on. So I'm curious to how powerful she was before she realized anything.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's okay. I remember, because that's how she saw her chance to get all six powers. She would get four from the king, and since Isla pretty much opened that, him falling in love, she got access to those four, and then the two from Isla, giving her
Grim
access to all six.
also, I think Grim also opened.
Oh yeah, because he loves her too, and I think yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think he opened his abilities to her. She just couldn't use them yet. She didn't I don't think she doesn't know how. What you got?
Okay, so she says, I saw my chance to get all six powers and planned accordingly. Then something I hadn't anticipated happened. I didn't know you had been visiting other rulers too. You apparently mentioned something suspicious about
Mm-hmm.
me to Grim, and the very next day he appeared in my room. Do we find out what was
No.
mentioned
No.
that made her suspicious? So that, okay, so she was suspicious of her the whole time, or at least part
But
of the time.
did because
But
he's been around.
that had to have been taken. Like, did she spot something about her and Grim that made it suspicious or something? And he mentioned, which,
Grim's
because
been
he would have taken
around
that
though.
name right.
He's been around, so did he know her sister's name? Is it the name?
I don't
Because
know.
he was around when the curses were there. So he had to have known her sister.
Maybe.
That's kind of how I went with it. Because when he went to her, he realized that the it comes back to his colors. Your emotions have colors, and he realized
Yeah.
that hers, Celeste's color was the same as Aurora's. But he had to have known that Celeste was her sister. And that's probably what made him suspicious to go check it out. And he was going to kill her until she managed to deceive him. Aurora told him that she could not rest until Egan's familial line was gone for good. She came up with a plan that would kill the king without dooming everyone, break the curses, and give him control over Lightlark. She told Grimm the original fence was a sunling ruler falling in love with a wildling, Egan, Love, and Violet. Grimm had to wipe Isla's memories in order to get her to fall in love with Oro, this is where her guardians come into play as well. That's why they're in on it as well. So he had to wipe her memories in order for them to get them in on it. Well, for Aurora to get them in on it. But she had to fall in love with Oro because her and Grimm were already in love. And then once Oro was drained, Aurora could kill him. And then Grimm said that he did it for his realm, her realm, and them.
Yeah.
And she believed it was a lie. Oh, wait, no, wait. Aurora said it was a lie. Like, she deceived him. Like, she wasn't going to go with the rest of her plan. It benefited her and not him. And this is where Isla states that she was ready to give up everything for him, and he used her as a pawn. Like, he was stuck in a rock and a hard place. Like, he was doing what he thought was best to help save. Isla went to pull out a blade, but it was one that Aurora had planted and knew she would buy when they went to the starling shop, and she enchanted it so it could never kill her. And then she pulls the good old star stick out and transported away. And like I said, mind blown again when she goes and checks on her guardians.
Yeah.
Well, not really check on her guardians because I guess she wanted the elixir as well. She wanted one of the healing elixirs. So she returns to the Wildling Newland where Poppy was running into her room. This is where we find out that Tara and Poppy knew Isla had powers. And that they had killed her parents. So it makes sense why they would tell her that her dad killed her mom and then he kills himself. They had to come up with a story.
Yeah.
Aurora had told them to kill her parents so Isla would have power before the next centennial and raise her to seduce the king. And then I guess this is like where, like, I don't think they've ever met Grimm. I think she just played them both. Because this is where Grimm would come in and be like, wipe her memories. So he had to. Oh no. Because they've been teaching her for years now to seduce the king.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't have lost her memories until last minute, though, no? Because how would she keep going back?
I think that's when Celeste told Grimm that he needed to wipe her powers the day that she was supposed to be going to the Centennial. I think that he was working with Aurora to get her like into the planet and stuff like that, so then that way he could wipe her memories at the right time. And then yeah. Excuse me.
Aurora did tell them that. You don't think what? No,
I don't think he was working with Tara and Poppy.
No, see, I don't think they met. I think that Aurora was just playing both sides.
Yeah. And they don't
And it
even
just
come
kind
out
of,
saying it was Celeste or Aurora. They just say the Starling ruler. So they don't even speculate like who was ruler at the time when she was little.
right,
It could have been like the previous face she had um when that happened.
right. She did tell them though that if not, then she'd kill the entire wildling realm if they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Isla wanted to kill Poppy right then and there and make Tara rot. I would have. Like, but she had more important matters to take care of. That's when she downed the bottle of wildling elixir and Poppy tried telling her not to go back. Isla told her she'd be back to return the power back to the realm and save Tara, but after that she didn't want anything or she didn't want to see them ever again. And then she goes back to the place of mirrors where the vines started attacking her, but she wielded her swords, cutting them until one wrapped around her neck.
When when it talked about she raised her hands to the thing, did I don't know what this is from, but a picture's like this. Oh, picture. I'm sorry, it just dawned on me. You know when Dumbledore puts his arms up and like Fawkes comes to get him and they like
Trying to
disappear or
picture it.
whatever in one of the Harry Potter movies? When Umbridge is like, "No, you're banned from the castle. Like, take him
I'd
away,"
have
and
to
he's like,
rewatch them.
"Nah, nope," and he like raises his hands together. That's how I pictured her portaling. I'll have to find it and send it to you, but that's how I pictured that. I have like so
Me,
many movie references.
well, when they were talking, like describing Isla wielding her swords in a circular motion, all I think is like the windmill of her going like this with her swords because that's kind of how like it was described that she was doing them in circles, like cutting these vines down until she got the one wrapped around her neck. Both Grim and Oro then looked at her with fear. Being at the Place of Mirrors, Aurora was limited to only using wildling powers, which advantage, disadvantage. And this is where we learn that she wasn't bound to any of the curses being the creator of them. That's how she was able to
Yeah.
like stay alive past 25.
Yep.
Isla still loved a part of her still loved Celeste because that was her friend. But she realized the offense wasn't using the heart. It wasn't a sunling falling in love with a wildling. A little bit later, I'm going to kind of jump to this, but it was actually killing of the best friend in cold blood. And like we'll go like more into that a little bit later. Aurora had trees crashing down into the top of the ceiling, so Isley used the start to transport away near Grim. And he told her about the heart. This kind of confused me though. Like, and I know she remembered like he told her her heart does not belong to her, and then she called like the heart and it came. So I'm assuming she's like interconnected with it now since it saved her life. Or that she kind of was the first one to like use it. She like unlocked it. So I'm assuming like whoever
Yeah,
unlocks
that,
it, it's like attracted to you.
yeah. That's kind of how I took it too.
She picked up the bond maker and she ran at Aurora. And then Aurora changed into Celeste, thinking like, "Oh, if I'm Celeste, you're not gonna do anything
That
wrong."
was dirty.
Yes, but she did
That was
not
dirty.
hesitate. Isla did not hesitate, and that's good though. Like she did not hesitate, and she plunged the end of the bond maker into Aurora's heart. A ruler of realm killing her best friend in cold blood was the offense. And it's the opposite way around this time, so that makes it like pretty much the same offense, just backwards.
Yeah.
The curses broke, but also Lightlark. The floor cracked, causing Celeste's dead body along with Isla to fall. Something stopped her from falling. Someone used the wildling power. But she wasn't the one to wield it. Oro had used it. The look on Grimm's face said everything. He was not able to access her powers. Now, it was implied that she shared her powers with Oro, but not Grimm. But couldn't he automatically wield wildling power? Like, because he has all 6 realms powers, or some to
Yeah.
extent.
I think maybe he just had more access because of their connection
But did
to
she
things.
really, but did she really open that connection to him? Or is he using his ability that he already had, having the 6 realms power? Like, it was never stated. It was kind of like implied, but it could go either way. Because he
I
should,
don't
like,
know.
he would have been able to use
Maybe
it there in
he
the
didn't
place of
have
mirrors.
maybe he didn't have access to wildling power because their Isle was dead just like Nightshade. So he only had 4 of the powers. And that's why she needed Isla, knowing that she had Wildling and Nightshade. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe and then like he had access because that bond kind of like clicked into place for both of them. Because I would feel like if he had access to wildling powers, he would have given 5 of them, and she would have given Nightshade, and then maybe amped up the wildling power a little bit with having both of them. I don't know.
Maybe. I see that one kind of like, and Grimm, poor Grimm. He was like devastated that he didn't get, like,
Mhm.
she didn't open her abilities to him. Going into chapter 55, unless you had anything else to say on
No,
from up to this point.
nope. That was yeah,
On the 100th day of the centennial, the island did not vanish with the storm. We learned it was we did learn that it had to be like a family line that had to die because Ella was still alive. And then we later
hmm
on find out exactly how that worked too, or how she was able, the Starling realm was still
yeah,
functioning. Ella still kept Isla updated on things. Cleo had cut the bridge to Moon Isle, separating her territory from the mainland. I want to know, what is she planning? She's got to be planning something because you're not just going to cut your bridge and be
yeah.
done. So I wonder if we'll learn more in the couple books if she does something.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be the whole thing for
The
book
next,
2. Yeah,
yeah, because something's going on there with her. Azul was caught at the beach watching the cursed storm clear, and it held the souls of those killed by the curses. So he got to say he was saying goodbye to his husband, I think, for one last time. Isla hasn't touched any of her power besides giving some to the wildling Newland or Newlands. And Grim returned back to Nightshade. And this is like earlier what I brought up, like she was afraid to fall asleep because she didn't want to fall into dreams that were memories. She did cover
yeah,
her mirrors because this was interesting that they can connect, like they can talk to you through mirrors.
yeah.
So she hung like towels to hide them. And she was afraid to watch like the shadows in case he was there.
Oh
And
yeah,
this one
me too.
and this one was pretty interesting too. And I wonder how this works because she heard a voice in her head, echo in her head, and it was Grim telling her to remember them and that when she does, she'll come back to him. So I wonder how, like, for him to do that, like, is it one of their type of powers or are they still like connected somehow? for him to
Is it like
talk.
a nightshade to nightshade type thing, or because they
See,
had
I
a
don't know.
connection so strong? Or was he a shadow in her bedroom and he like said it to her in her sleep
Because,
type of
yeah.
thing?
Well,
Even says like he'd
he can
spoken so
send.
clearly, it was as if he was sitting in her room at the edge of her bed. But when she had
Well, no, because
finally
that's
blinked her
memories.
eyes open, gathering the covers to her sweating skin, she had found it empty. So, like, was he there and then gone because of how fast he can transport himself?
Or he
Like,
can make himself invisible, though.
he's longing, yeah, like he's longing for her. Did he, like, go to her when she was sleeping to check on her and make sure that she was okay because he misses her so
Oh, I'm
much?
sure he's going to
Like,
keep checking on her. I believe he's still going to check on her. And then she thought
even
his words. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like it even says with their curses broken, nightshades would be stronger than they had been in 500 years. And then
Wonder how
remembering like
much.
his demonstration and everything.
Right. And that's when she took like the day on the beach, everything that he said about like the black hole and burning or dismantling the castle. She took those as threats and not just him like, "Oh, this is what I can do."
Yeah.
Type.
Look what I could do.
Yeah. And then Oro came to see her, teasing her about jumping off the cliff again when he accidentally made her fall.
Mm.
Oro tells her the first time he began to feel something, it was for a wildling who wasn't trying to, what is it, be, I don't know that word, beguile,
Beguile.
beguile him. And this is like the Isla and Oro are sharing their powers with each other. Now, here's my little theory. And I don't know if like he may be sharing his powers with her, but I just don't know about her with him. Like I said, because he's supposed to have all six realms powers since he controls everything. I don't believe okay, so I believe she loves him, but I don't think she's in love with him like she thinks she is. I think it's more of that friendship love. Because she's too still stuck on Grim. She's always still thinking
Yeah.
about Grim, even when she's with Oro. So I think she feels like she's in love with him because of their connection, but I feel like it's more of a friendship love and not a romantic love.
Yeah, I agree. And I think she'll find that out later on because she even talked about like the connection that her and Grim had. What she felt with him wasn't anything that she'd felt before. And I think that now she believes that her and Oro have that connection, that she might be in love with him and has kind of opened up that connection because she was just betrayed by Grim. Like she found out that
Right.
they had a life together for a
For
whole
a
year,
year.
which isn't a long time, but for somebody like her who had been locked up, who didn't have
Mm-hmm.
communication or interaction with other people, that is a big fucking deal. And then to find out that he kind of like played her while he was being played, so indirectly played her, is a really big betrayal for her because her whole life was a lie. She like her
Yeah.
whole life has just come crumbling down on her. So
All
I
in like a
agree.
day.
I do think that she is going to realize that it is kind of like this real human connection. He's the only person out of everybody, aside from like Azul and even Cleo didn't betray her, but like,
Right.
you know, all of this betrayal just happened. And it was people she thought she could trust. So now it's like, okay, all I have is Oro. Like he loves me, obviously I love him. Like we've got this connection type thing. But I don't think her and Grim are done. And I
Mm-mm.
don't I don't think her and Oro will stay together. I think that
Yeah.
it'll whether she gets her memories back or they build new and she kind of like lets that go, like okay, we had a past, like that's over, we're starting fresh type thing. I think that something will happen between them
Yeah, because
because
like even when she's with like Oro on the balcony, her mind went straight to Grim. That's why like and she's like and she mentioned I think it said something about like is this love like she doesn't fully understand what being in love is because she doesn't have the memories with Grim to really understand that she was in love with him. So to me, I believe she does love Oro. I just don't believe it's the love she thinks it is. I just think it's
Yeah.
more of a friendship or like a brother type like they just have that connection and it's not
But I think
what?
I don't think so much brother. Um, I do think it'll end up being like a you're my best friend type type thing. But
Yeah, I don't think it's like a romantic love. She believes it is. I just don't think and I think it's just like everything that happened and she's like confused and she's been through a lot, so she just kind of believes that's what that is.
yeah.
That's my little theory. Isla was able to take the Starling abilities and save the realm. So does that make her the ruler of two realms then? Like
No, it doesn't really
because she
get
she took
told.
the power from Aurora to herself
Yeah.
to save them, but I don't know she's gonna be powerful. I think she can and now that like Aurora's sharing his abilities, she's got them all too.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
so
We don't find out. We don't really find out what is
I
going to
wonder
happen
if
with Starling, other than that it was just spared with the curses being broken. So does
right
that automatically, even though she's got their powers,
or
are
she
they
gonna
going to pick
appoint somebody.
somebody? Or yeah,
Maybe she'll do Ella.
yeah, because there's like no other Starling that she knows other than Bitch Face.
Yeah, we don't know any of them unless she goes there and like appoints somebody else or Oro does that or something, like
Yeah.
not quite
So maybe
sure.
we'll find out in book 2. Obviously, we'll have to find out in book 2. I don't really
I am
think
ready for it.
I don't think they're gonna skip that,
She trusts
but
nobody but Oro.
mhm.
And then the last chapter, which I would have never thought that the crown is what opens the door. Isla visited the place of mirrors with Oro by her side. He told Isla the moment the arrow went through her heart, he knew he loved her. And that's why I think, like, why he said please to
Yeah.
Grim is like, you gotta do something. I love her. That type of thing. Standing in front of the spiral door, Isla used the crown in the gap and turned it like a key, and the door opened. And then it ends. Like it ends.
Yeah.
It better pick up in book 2 what's in the door. Like, I want to know. Is it more secrets? Watch it just be the library. Watch it just be the library that
Well,
the
what's in the
Wild
life?
Lake Library.
It has to be something. I do think that it's their library.
Secrets of
I
her
heavily
past.
think that I really do think
Or
that it is their library, the Wildling Library. And I think that there's going to be either she's going to leave us hanging on what's in there, or what is in there is going to play a big part for book 2.
or the stuff her mom hid. Like, is it her mom's
Never
life?
went there. I don't know if her mom ever went there. It's never said like how long her mom lived or
No.
anything like that.
They just lived long
So
enough to have Isla.
yeah, and then
Like
they were
how
killed.
long?
We don't
How
know how
long?
long she was alive. Was she just like did most of them just live so long like to where um like each generation, so like was her grandparent or great grandparent the last one, the one that went to the previous centennial, and then like it was a failure, so then they came back and had a kid, and then that person had a kid who in turn had a kid for the 100 years or whatever for the next one, and that just they wanted to make sure that her, obviously it worked, not obviously, but it seemed like it worked that way because they made Tara and Poppy kill Isla's parents to ensure that everything was passed down to Isla and put her in place. So if there was a chance
And it
that
was shortly
Isla's
after she
mom,
was born.
Isla's mom could have been the one had she not had a kid that went to the Centennial but was older or whatever. Since you couldn't have an heir to go to the Centennial, but they mapped it out perfect to ensure that they were going to be there.
But how long, you know, we don't know how long her dad was coming to see her mom, like before they even had her.
We found like how they met and
Yeah, because all we know, all we
how long
learned
after
was that he used the star stick. Is it even called a star stick? We never really, because it's a nightshade relic.
just that, yeah, that's just what she called it. So
I think it's because it
I
made a
don't
pool of
know.
stars. Like it made a pool of stars for her to transport.
You don't watch Marvel movies, do you?
I've seen some of them.
Have you seen Multiverse of Madness? Scarlet Witch goes crazy. It's fucking psycho.
Is that one of the newer ones?
It is. Well, it's been a couple years since it come out. But in there
No, I
there
haven't.
is a girl that they're chasing, America, and she can portal jump. So when it talked about like a pool of stars, I honestly pictured like a star opening as she could like jump through this portal because
Mhm.
that's what her power is and stuff in the movie. So that's actually how I pictured it up until
I pictured a circle of
this
stars. I
this,
pictured a
and I'm
circle
like,
of stars. Like an actual like ring that she just could have like jumped into. That's what I pictured.
all of these connections that I'm like, oh my god, just makes me realize how much of a nerd I really am because there's so
Yes.
many different things. I'm like, that's how I'm picturing things. Like I'm picturing, all sorts of things like Harry Potter and Marvel and Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, and
Yep.
that's how everything plays out in my head.
Yeah. But yeah, the
Which
pool of
is like
stars
how
is
my
like
brain
just
works. It's like,
like this circle and she's just like jumping into it. Maybe not head first, but you know, still like jumping into it and transporting. I still want to know like how do you do it? Do you just think of where you want to go and you just go? Like they still haven't like
yeah.
described how you go to where you want to go.
No, they haven't because it just like the first time she used it, it automatically took her to which what we don't even find out was that set up like to where if it was
I think it was Nightshade she went to first. She lost her memory, so of course she's gonna think the first place she went to is Starling.
oh no, she went to Starling way before she went to Nightshade because she had only appeared in Nightshade a year before when she met Grim.
Um,
She was already meeting with Celeste for 3 years,
oh
two to
no.
3 years before she met Grim. Because she said, I didn't know you were meeting others, and you had told him, like, she was already meeting with Celeste when she met Grim because then she was suspicious of her. There was something that kind of gave her away. Um, but the stick took her to Starling Isle, Star
Mm.
Isle, the very first time that it was used. So since it come out that she was working with Tara and Poppy, or like she gave them that threat or whatever, like
Yeah, because
was that
how
one of
long
the things
ago?
where it was set up by Aurora that like, okay, she's coming here first because she's gonna be part of my fucking plan. Like I've already decided she's the plan. This is what you're doing. This is what she needs to do. Um, she's gonna come here first,
See, but
not
I
knowing
need
that
to know
she
the
was going to
timeline.
the other isles.
I need to know the timeline because when did she find the star stick? How old was she when she found the star stick? When did Celeste or Aurora contact Tara and Poppy? Like, how long after she was
So
born? Because technically, how old was she? It was said that
it
they
could have
killed
been,
each
yeah,
other. It was said that her father killed her mom and then killed himself after she was born. But how many years after? Because we don't know like the true backstory now that we know that Tara and Poppy is the ones that killed him.
yeah. They were
Like
just
there's
possessed,
more.
like you need to do away with them so she gets their powers.
I
And
wonder,
why why she has both powers when you're only supposed to get one when you're mixed like that.
right? I wonder though if she'll go back for answers. Like will she return to get answers from them?
Will she seek out Grimm for answers since he
Because he would
knew?
know her father.
Since he knew, yeah.
I wonder if like she'll seek him out for her father since he was a general.
Did he know from the general or did he find out from Aurora what she was? Because she found out that uh Grimm and her know each other.
I need to answer like I said, like this one, we got the answers that we wanted, but it opens up so much questions and like I still need a little bit of backstory. Like I
Yeah.
need more backstory on her and Grimm, her parents, kind of more a little bit more backstory on Celeste's whole plan. Like when did it start? When did she go to them? How did she know about Isla?
Yeah.
Like I need to know these things. There's just like a few holes I'm missing. And I need to know
So
what's in this door.
I'm assuming this is Oro's crown.
Yeah, because hers is like vine like.
Yeah. This is like
Does
really
it?
pointy and stuff.
Does it? Let me see here.
She just makes a comment like when they're in the cave and she's talking like your crown is really pointy or really sharp. Like, I'm
No.
wondering if this is,
No, it resembles Grimm's more than Oros. Oros is like a regular crown. It resembles more. I feel like it resembles Grimm's crown more than Oros.
is this hers?
Uh, no, here's hers is more flowery.
Huh.
I feel like it resembles Grimm's crown more
I don't
than
know. Maybe it's a
anything.
representation of all of them because it looks like it's got like symbols like moonling, wildling, sun
Uh,
with the symbols on the front of it. I don't
she
know.
get
So
a
maybe
new
that.
crown?
Well, because
Does she
I
get
was
a
just
new
trying to
crown?
figure out. I was trying to figure out whose this might represent. 'Cause it
Let
looks
me see
like
that.
ice crystals. It looks like ice crystals. So I was trying to
Mm.
figure out who this this was or whose it might
That one
be.
doesn't really resemble anybody. The only thing I could think of is maybe Cleo's because they're water and ice. Because if you look, it's an ice castle in the center of the crown. There's an ice castle. It's more going to
It's gonna
be
have more
Cleo in
Cleo.
it and why she's drifting away from the mainland.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would resemble more for Cleo. Hmm. Hey, zombie, reading ahead.
Oh, no, I was looking at the I was reading the
Mm.
cover page on the
Haven't read that
inside,
yet.
and then I was looking at the map to see if there was anything new for book 2 compared to the map on book 1, like if anything popped out that was added. Um, but no, I wasn't reading anything extra, but it looks the same, it's just not in red.
Different colors.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
But
so
everything looks
next week's episode,
normal.
we will start the second book. And this one, I
Yeah.
think you said we are going to do by pages just because there's chapters, but
Yes.
there's no chapter numbers. So this one's going to be
Yes.
set up a little different.
Yeah, it'll be easier just to kind of do pages like that. It'll still be kind of broke down into
Eights.
eight chapter like things, but it'll be like set up to where our schedule will be page numbers and stuff like that. So then that way it's not a lot of reading, a whole lot to go over, but still keeps us on a good track with things and keeps it easier to follow along also.
Right.
So I'm excited.
Me too. I want more answers. I need to know.
Yes.
I
And
need
just to prepare
team
us,
Team Grim still. Team Grim still. I have hopes. Okay.
the inside of the book cover says, "You were once the bane of my existence, and now you are the center of it." Isla Crown has secured the love of two powerful rulers and broken the curses that plagued the Sixth Realms for centuries. But few know the true origins of her powers. Now, in the wake of a crushing betrayal, Isla finds herself hungry for distraction, preferring to frequent Lightlark's seductive haunts instead of embracing her duties as the newly crowned leader of two separate realms. Worse,
So,
her fellow rulers haven't ceded victory quietly, and there are others in Isla's midst, my mouth is not working, who don't believe her ascent to power was earned. As certain death races towards Lightlark and secrets from the past begin to unravel, Isla must weigh her responsibility to her people against the whims of the most dangerous traitor of all, her heart. Excuse me?
um, I'm assuming it's Cleo
Excuse me?
that doesn't think that she earned.
Yeah, you know she's going to be a problem. You know she's going to be a part. But certain death races toward Lightlark?
Am I
Is it
gonna die?
because they haven't ceded victory? Like they're like, no. Like, no, we're
Or is
not
this the
agreeing with
greater
any of
danger?
this.
Is this the greater danger now that the curses are broke and Grimm's nowhere to be found? I gotta read.
Yes, for sure. I will
Okay,
get
so
that scheduled
next week's
together.
episode will be 1 through 7, pages something through something, or 1 through 8, certain pages of book 2, Nightbane.